And welcome back to Designing in Design Spark. So far we've completed our 3D models for making our thumb cap to 3D print, and now what we need to do is put these parts into position. And this rectangle here represents the build area for my Mars 2 Pro that I'm using. And so we've got about 5.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So let's go ahead and move these parts into position. So I'm going to click the move button here and rotate this 180 degrees. Move that there. Now let's go ahead and pick this marker, put it in the corner. In the corner there, make sure it's locked into the corner. I'm going to click this up to button and click on our plane we're going to use. And now let's go to the top view. And whoops. Let's go to the top view and put it into position. So put it over here, bring it up a little bit, give room for the other parts. Let's go ahead and move the other body into position. About right there's good. Let's move the stem into position. And right here to here. All right, cool. Let's go to the front view. So now we need to figure out how tall this is, so we can use it in our slicing software. I'm using Chitubox, and that's in millimeters. So translating from inches to millimeters, we got to figure that out. So what I have here is we're just below 47 millimeters, and if I extrude up another part that's going to represent how tall this is to keep it into scale, it's actually 1.85 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the sketch tool, click on our plane, click a circle, and this is going to represent the height that is just higher, 0.020, just higher than our 3D model, because I want to keep it in scale, and I can use this extrusion as just the basis for how tall I want this. So I'm going to keep it on the pull tool. I'm going to click on this circle, pull it up, 1.85, enter. And okay, cool. So just to show you, let's go ahead and go to the front view. And if I click move and move this circle right behind where the tallest part of our part is, which is this locating dome, you can see that if I zoom in, it's just above our locator point. So when I pull this into Chitubox, it's going to look at the tallest 3D model that I'm using, which is our now cylinder right here, and it's going to scale off our model based on this cylinder. So everything else is going to be into scale. Okay. So let's go ahead and go to front view. So it looks like everything's good. Go to top view. And as long as I keep all of them in that perimeter, like I said, we should be good. And so the next thing what we need to do is save this out as an STL. I'm sorry, an object file. So we're going to save it as an object file, and we're going to pull that into the Chitubox there. So let's go ahead and go to object right here, and we'll just keep it at, let's say, drawing 7 now. We're on part 7. Cool. And I'm going to save that in my grip caps folder. Cool. All right. And the next thing we need to do is go ahead and open this file up in Chitubox, and we'll get going. And so what we need to do now is put in our resin specifications. So I pulled this off Google, and you could find whatever resin you're using, but what I'm using is Sculpt Ultra White, and the reason I'm using that is because it's a high temperature resin, and you want to use high temperature resins to use for injection molding. Okay, so if you use regular resin, it's going to melt your mold, it's going to deform it, and it's not going to last very long. I had some relatively good success with Ultra White, but these are the specs for it. So you have your exposure layers, your layer heights, all that's the times and all that, how high the layers are supposed to be. And I put this information into Chitubox and I'm going to use this information to help me build our 3D model here. All right, so this is Chitubox, which is a slicing software, and different 3D printers have different types of slicing softwares, but this is the one I'm using, and it's in millimeters, and I can't figure out how to do it in inches. Actually, I don't think it comes in inches, so that's why we had to translate our drawing from 1.85 inches to 47 millimeters to scale it. So that's just how it is. But all right, so I pulled in our object file, and it came as this very tiny model here. So we need to scale it. So I'm going to click the scale button, and the Z, the height of it is going to be, remember, 47 millimeters. So when I click in 47, it's going to scale our model to how we need it. Okay, cool. So you could tell the red, that means it's outside of our build plate. And let's click the rotate and rotate it. And we can click in 90 degrees over here if we have to. So click to 90 degrees. Perfect. Okay, so remember that the cylinder that we extruded to 47, so it's basing its height off of this cylinder that we extruded and not anything else. So as long as this is accurate, everything else is going to be accurate for us. Okay, so let's go to the top. If we don't see any red, then we're good. That means that all of our parts are inside of this build area. So if I pull it out, you can see it start to get red. As long as you're inside that build area, you should be fine right there. All right, cool. All right, now that we have everything scaled up and into position, we're gonna go ahead and click the slice button. And what it's gonna do is just take every layer piece by piece as a slice. And if I drag this up, you're gonna see it kind of cut through the model, and this is how it's gonna build. It's actually gonna build it from the base plate up, so it's gonna go the other way. So let me start from the very basic. And if you can imagine, this is upside down, it's gonna build it out, and it's going to go to the very end, and it's done there. But the thing is, what we need to do with our model, we have some unsupported areas that we need to address, because if you slice this, let's say that we're slicing it from the very beginning, and we start to pull it up and pull it up and pull it up, you could see that once in a while you're going to have some models that just pop out of nowhere, some islands. So if you look at the bigger part, it pops out there, right? So if it's going to be building off of the base plate, it needs some support for building that piece. Also our stem, it pops out too. So we need to add some supports for our model here, just to make sure that we don't have any lagging overhangs, and that it comes out stable. So we're going to go ahead and go back and put some supports on there. So let's go ahead and click on our support tab, and it's analyzing it. So let's go ahead and put it, we can mess with these settings, and I'm going to click on all. It's going to analyze it. And right now it's showing that we can put some supports on the outside of our stem there. It also puts some supports on the inside of our part there. And if you can tell, the green is actually the bottom. That's where the base of our build plate is. And so it's going to come off the green, and it's going to go up away from the green. And so our base layer is this green area. And it automatically put in some supports for us. And based on this, I mean, it looks fine to me. You can add more supports if you want to. You don't have to. It's based on your printer and your settings and all that. So after I've added those supports, I'm going to go back to this tab right here and click Slice again. And it's analyzing our model. And let's go ahead and rerun this here. So pull it down. And so it builds a base for our supports and our models, and it builds it up, and you can see that it pops out. You have some islands popping out, but it has the supports in there, so it should be okay. Like I said, based on your 3D printer and how you want your settings. So I'm going to go ahead and click save, and I'm going to save this, and it's a .ctb, and I'm going to go ahead and save it locally, and you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it part 7 mold, and save that. And cool, it's writing to the file, and that's that. So now what we're going to do in our next video is I'm going to walk you through setting up the 3D prints, and we're actually going to print this out and see what kind of success we have. So anyway, I will see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.